All right, let's go ahead and open up the doors. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc. So we have lots of people here in the Zoom room coming in live with us. And if you would like to join us, you are more than welcome to at dailywithdoczoom.com. That's all together, dailywithdoczoom.com. And if you would like to be part of our newsletter, make sure that you go to dailywithdoc.com and sign up for our newsletter. We do send out once a week right now. We're sending out a list of the shows and the descriptions from the previous week so that you can easily find them and share them. This is a resource that is being made available so that we as a community, as a family, doesn't matter where you are in this world, we are family. I'm going to claim you whether you like it or not, and you can claim me or not. That's okay. But our mission is to make sure that people are getting information that they can use to help themselves. There's so much that we can do that either destroys or builds up. And we want to make sure that the information that we are sharing with people is that information that builds people up, both physically, because if we don't have physical health, mental health goes down the hill as well. If we're hurting all the time, how can we be happy? It's possible, but it's a struggle. So let's make sure that we are giving the body what it needs, because when it has what it needs, it can perform much, much better without having the stress of having to deal with all the different things that life can throw at us physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. My name is Becca Dukes, and as the hostess of this program and also the Director of Student Services from the Institute of Holistic Health, I welcome you to the solutions that we have found to be, one, supported by research, two, even backed by science, the science of epigenetics, which, folks, if you don't know anything about epigenetics, epigenetics gives hope to those of us who were told that we're just going to have to live with a disease because our grandmother, our mother, our grandfather, our grandfather, they had it. So no matter what we do, we're going to have it. Wrong. Totally false. And I am so thankful that that has, for me, has manifested into a much different story. And even that of my mom, and being able to help her with many of the things that she was dealing with, that what she was told was genetic. So folks, if you've been told that you have a genetic disease, epigenetics proves that the transmission of disease that has been said to be genetic is false, incorrect, and you have more control than what they want you to think you do. So with that being said, this program is being sponsored by Daily with Doc. Go to dailywithdoc.com. There you will find the replays for our programming, and you will also find articles to help you in getting more information that you can put in your toolbox of life and what you can do to help yourself and also share with others to help them also find a different health journey. Now, Dr. Wallach is going to be mentioning the good foods, bad foods list. We have that there on the website as well. Again, good foods, Dr. Wallach's 10 good foods, bad foods list on dailywithdoc.com. And we do have a store there also. This store is for people who have not been referred to this program by somebody specific. Okay, so if somebody shared this video with you, whether you're here live with us, whether you're watching a replay, get back with them. Say, hey, there's a store that's supposed to have these products that Dr. Wallach is mentioning. What store do you use? Because I want to shop where you shop. And in many cases, the person that shared this program with you is one of our amazing health coaches who is part of our family. And we want to make sure that our family gets the credit due when it comes to sharing the message with others. And folks, there is a financial side to this. Absolutely. We get a thank you check for referring people to give us 90 days to try the products. Because folks, your body requires more than just 1 or 2 vitamins, 1 or 2 minerals. It requires 90 essential nutrients. And when disease has already started to set in, it's going to take a little bit more. But there are things that we can do to help ward off different things so that if we're proactive instead of reactive, it's so much easier. So we invite you again to try what Dr. Wallach is going to be mentioning today. Give us 90 days so that you too can feel the difference. Now, the content of this program is to provide educational information only on the importance of supplementation. The FDA requires us to let you know that our products are not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. But like I just said, when you give the body what it needs, the body can do some amazing stuff. That entity, the FDA, has been sued 9 times by the doctor that we have with us today, with victories and being able to say what we say about the importance of supplementation. So listen up. He talks really fast. I'm just going to give you a heads up. He talks really fast, faster than me. So if you can't listen that fast or take notes that fast, and you are here live with us, make sure that you have that chat box open. And we have some amazing co-hosts with us here today who do a fabulous job typing up what Dr. Wallach is mentioning and recommending for the different people, because we do have Q&A in the last half of the show. So if you have questions and you're here with us, make sure that you raise that virtual hand. And if you are out in YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook, make sure that you type in your comments and your questions there as well, because we do have people that are monitoring those different platforms, and we want to make sure that we reach people where they are at. Okay. And I get lots of comments. I get to see the comments on YouTube and, different entities not being able to be trusted. But anyways, without further ado, it is my honor and privilege to bring to you a gentleman who has worked his way through college in the pathology lab, actually found because of a mass die-off when he was in his early 20s, when everybody else was on Christmas break. And he was able to write that up. He wrote that up. It was published. And that was just the beginning of what this man has been able to do through his research, where he went on to become a doctor of veterinary medicine. He has 3 postdoctorates in pathology. And then that wasn't enough. So he decided, hey, let's not just teach humans about nutrition. Let's be able to be a doctor of naturopathic medicine, where we can actually give legal recommendations to those with only 2 legs walking upright. Dr. Joel Wallach, come on screen with me. I just want to thank you so much for all the research that you can continue to do. And I'm going to be honest, you're kind of driving me nuts with all this stuff that's just coming at you, and you're so excited, which I love the excitement. And I know that you have something exciting you're going to share with us today. So
thank you for what you and your team does. And of course, this is going to be coming out in written form here pretty quick. We're going to be, I think, probably in the first journal that the health coaches will do. It's going to be their first publication like this. It goes out to their members and the general public. It's kind of like a journal, okay, a scientific journal. Very excited. And so I've been really doing some deep research into Parkinson's disease. turns out the first cases of Parkinson's disease were described in 1817 in England by a doctor by the name of, funny enough, James Parkinson. So he named it after him. And he was looking at these people who had all these tremors and they were standing there just shaking, had palsies of all kinds and so forth. And this was in 1817, okay? And so, and he wrote this essay, and it's very, very interesting. Now, this goes along with our experience here. We've been looking, and we found a publication that was written in 2011. This publication written in 2011, it was a big article in a magazine, a lot of color pictures of people with Parkinson's disease at 25 years old, 18 years old, 12 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old. But there's one of them in there. This lady, okay, claims she had a baby who was born with Parkinson's disease, okay. And so I can see where that would be true, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Parkinson's disease, they can be born with it. Babies are born with Erb's palsy, which is they're paralyzed from the neck down, okay, because they've lost the myelin, or didn't make the myelin in their brain and spinal cord. And so they're born with paralysis from the neck down. It's called Erb's palsy. So why not also, can somebody not have Parkinson's disease when they're born, okay? And the doctors are telling the mother, oh, you got to be careful, don't have any more babies because you have a gene for carrying Parkinson's. No, that's not true. Okay, Parkinson's disease is not genetic, it's not autoimmune, it's a simple nutritional deficiency disease. Now, I've been doing a lot of research. I know where to look and be very efficient. And again, we talked about this briefly the other day. And when you look at the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, 25% of the brain and spinal cord is the myelin, the white matter of the brain. And doctors have been saying since they came out with the MRI, magnetic resonance imaging system, over 100 years ago, they say, oh, the white matter, the myelin is going away, and that's why you have all these problems, motor problems, getting places and doing things, and problems with receiving information and interpreting information. Okay, is because you don't have your myelin. Okay, well, myelin makes up 25% of the brain weight, 25% of your spinal cord weight, and it's why you get all these diseases of the central nervous system. So we're in the process of writing this all up. We're going to make it to an add-on to the book, It's All in Your Head, which is primarily initially written for osteoporosis of the skull, but we're going to do a soft tissue part of the book. The second part of the book will be soft tissue issues in the brain and spinal cord. Okay, so we're very excited about that. Well, we said this yesterday, but we spend in America, just to treat the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease each year in America, $345 billion. Each year in America to spend money on treating the symptoms of MS, multiple sclerosis, and Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is multiple sclerosis of the spinal cord, $85 billion. And then the Parkinson's disease, one that we're specifically interested in, we spend $52 billion. Okay, FTD, the new one, which is kind of a deal, goes along with Alzheimer's disease, just different parts of the brain, which is not typically found to be involved with Alzheimer's disease, but now it is, because they named it a different thing, FTD, frontal temporal dementia, is $7.28 billion a year to deal with that. And it's just been around for a couple of months. Okay, and then ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, the big baseball player, Lou Gehrig, and of course Babe Ruth are the big baseball players of the time. And Lou Gehrig died after just 2 years of treatment for Lou Gehrig's disease, aka ALS, which is, again, I think it's kind of like Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's a spinal cord and basal part of the brain stuff. $1.02 billion. So it adds up to $490.30 billion a year just to treat the symptoms of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 diseases, okay, that we have in the brain and spinal cord. It's all because doctors have told us not to eat cholesterol. Well, cholesterol makes up 25% of your brain weight and 25% of your spinal cord weight. It's 100% of the white matter. Myelin is cholesterol. Cholesterol is myelin. When they said don't eat cholesterol because it's the thing that's blocking your arteries, no, that wasn't true. It was a big, huge diagnostic and translation error, okay, when they made that decision. And that thing that generated the drugs for the pharmaceutical industry, okay, the statin drugs, lower cholesterol, has contributed to all of these diseases, okay? And the baby being born with Parkinson's disease in 2000, I think 2000, 4 years before that, 5 years before that, because the baby was, when this article came out in 2011, the baby was already like 6, 7 years old, okay? But the mother was told by the doctor that she had a genetic disease and that she was going to pass it on to her other children, so not to have any more kids and all that kind of stuff. And so, let's see here. The mother's name is Samantha Holbrey, Hollbrey, and the son's name is, let's see here.
Well, let's not give out names, especially those of minors, please.
Oh, it's published in this news article.
They can publish it with the parents' permission. We don't have that permission at this time.
Okay,
Go ahead.
thank you for the heads up. Okay, but see, this is what they say in ignorance. And so we're filling in this thing, and I'm just so excited to be, one of the first articles for this, for the health coaches, certified health coaches, which Rebecca is one of the founding mothers of that organization, and certainly one of the stalwart people who make sure that everything run right in that particular organization. So that's why she kicks me in the head every time I do something funny that I shouldn't. And so I appreciate that. And so at any rate, it's one of those things where we're putting together this article, like about 80% done. The only thing that I don't have in front of me is the details of the examination that this great patient we have, okay, and she had Parkinson's disease, and I was told it was 11 years, but she found out it was actually, she was confirmed for 12 years having Parkinson's disease. And then just after 2.5 months in our program, she went back for her 13th annual examination, and lo and behold, she was negative, okay? And this is, as you see, when this article comes out, it's going to freak everybody out, because the organization that diagnosed her with Parkinson's, very famous medical clinic, everybody in the world knows this medical center, and then it's from the US, extremely well respected, so you got to respect them and believe that their diagnosis was correct. But they still were being taught that it was a disease that you only had 7 to 10 years to live. And I believe that we can, since we've been able to give the nutrients to this wonderful patient, okay? And she is going to be a star here, because it's one of those things where she, what should I say, is sharing all her information with us. And she's so happy because she has, she was suffering with so many signals and symptoms of Parkinson's disease, but she was kept alive with all these very serious drugs and treatments, because insurance was paying for everything and Social Security was paying for everything. So she really got some good care. So we're very proud of that. And we'll give them a shake of the hand, because they were just following what they were taught in medical school. And she benefited from that, but she's still alive. Well, now she's 90% of her symptoms of what we knew of her as Parkinson's disease are gone, including the tremors and all the stuff going on with the postures and the stuff that you don't want to hear about, okay, when it comes to Parkinson's disease, okay? And so she has made a miraculous recovery, and we have recorded, when I gave Rebecca, okay, the formula to give to this patient, she said, well, I don't want to make a mistake, so let's record it. So we recorded it, so we have the recording, so there's no guess what I said, okay, 6 months ago or whatever it was. And so we're very, very excited about this. This is going to be, what they say, is going to be freedom. It's like cutting the chains off of people who have Parkinson's disease, which is at this moment just sort of a death sentence. Okay, and I believe, we may be able to only help 99% of the people, maybe 1% they can't. okay, because it depends on where those damages are to the brain and spinal cord. Okay, it depends on what type of damage they have. Maybe they have other things going on at the same time, okay? But we're going to have such a miraculous record, okay, because there are going to be many, many, many of them, just like our patient, okay? So with that, I'm going to turn that over to Rebecca, because I know we have callers.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. And lots of great information, lots of things coming out, folks, that is just adding to our resources that can be shared. And we just want to do big shout outs to all of our certified holistic health coaches from the Institute of Holistic Health, as they are really taking this message serious. And most of them, it's because they tried the products, they got amazing results, and now they can't stop but tell other people, because, folks, you can feel the difference. Not everything that you put in your body can you feel the difference. In fact, there's even some pharmaceuticals that you take, you're not feeling a difference. So they're adding more and more and more, and then having to add more on top of that of something else. Well, when you give the body what it needs, because we are not chemical deficient, the body can do some amazing things. So I just want to, give you all a round of applause for taking the time to learn about what you can do and for sharing this information with others. So we do have to, because of the FDA and censorship and YouTube and censorship and Facebook and censorship, we do have to be careful about what we say or they take us down. And then the FDA gives us fines, all that good stuff that we want to not have to encounter. So thank you so much, Dr. Wallach, for allowing me to, and I don't kick you in the head. I would never, ever, ever do that. No, I do gently say, stop. But folks, you get the message. We've got so much censorship that, the entities that are in place don't want you to have information. And this information has been proven in court to be accurate. He has even been given awards from the United Nations.
The Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015, which they've only given 5 of those out. They've only given 5 out, and I'm one of the 5 that have received that award from the United Nations. Very, very proud of that. And it was because of the cystic fibrosis, it was because of the muscular dystrophy, it was because of sudden death syndrome. Those 3 things in 1 year we're able to get rid of because of my discoveries and so forth. And our great attorney, Jonathan Emord, who's running for Senate now, we're very proud of him, have sued the FDA on our behalf 8 times in federal court, and we prevailed, got those nutrients put into baby formulas, which doctors had been refusing it for over 25 years. They wouldn't let us put those nutrients into the baby formulas. It would be illegal. They'd put us in jail if we put those nutrients in baby formulas. So we had to go to federal court and the FDA and got it done. Within 90 days, there were no more new cases of cystic fibrosis, no more new cases of muscular dystrophy, and no more new cases of sudden death syndrome. And we took this to Jerry Lewis. We went around to big Amish communities, okay, and looked at least a dozen families where they had kids that had long-term muscular dystrophy, and we had gotten rid of it with a supplementation program and diet. And he was so excited. In September of 2011, September 4th, he went to the annual meeting of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. They fired him as soon as he walked in the door. They fired him because the rumor had been out that he'd been out claiming we had found the cure, right? So they fired him when he walked in to the meeting, put a gag order on him, which takes a little while in court to get. So they've been working on that for a while. So he couldn't say anything to anybody. And then the next day, on the 5th of September, 2011, they shut down his telethon, with which he had raised $2.6 billion for the research to find the cure. Well, when we found it, they fired him and put a gag order on him, but he knew before he died we had found it. And so I'm just so happy he knew that all his efforts were for the benefit of Jerry's kids.
Yes, so his efforts went well, and I know that they tried to carry on that telethon for a few years and just were not getting the same results that they got whenever Jerry was the host of it. So definitely something that I remember as a kid every Labor Day weekend. Well, Dr. Wallach, we have some questions here in regards to cholesterol. Okay, cholesterol is so important, and Storks Delivery wants to know, is myelin the same thing as the gray matter of the brain? And I know cholesterol is very important for myelin. So is it the gray matter of the brain, or is it another portion of?
Okay, well, it's really called the white matter of the brain. There's a lot of people call it gray matter, but it's white matter. That's the same thing. Gray matter, white matter, it's the same thing, because most of the fats in the brain are yellow. Okay, and so when you see that the brain and the spinal cord are 25% white matter, myelin, and people have heard since they came out with the MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, when you take an X-ray of the skull, you just see a big black hole in there. You don't see anything other than the bones. When you use an MRI, when you look in the book, It's All in Your Head, those pictures were taken with an MRI because you actually see the brain and the folds in the brain, all that kind of stuff. And you find it? Yeah.
Yep, I got it right here.
Okay. And so it's the insulation material. Yeah. It's called the white matter in the brain. Okay. So the yellow matter is the white matter. And that's a normal brain at autopsy. The top of the skull has been cut off. We're looking down on the brain, and you're looking at the skull. It's only a quarter of an inch thick. That's normal. The second one below that is also at autopsy. You're taking the top of the skull off. We're looking down on the brain. It looks like oatmeal. Okay, because it's got it's demyelinated, and you can see that on an MRI test. You can see it when they give you the picture. You can see where all that white matter of the brain is gone, and the gray matter of the brain, which is really the cells. Okay, the gray matter is the cells. That's where the gray matter thing came in. It's the cells. The white matter, the myelin, goes away. The cells just jumble up, and it looks like oatmeal, like in the bottom picture. And you can see where the skull is 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick, and it squeezes the 12 pairs of cranial nerves as they're coming out. So 12 on one side, 12 on the other side, and the spinal cord gets squeezed. And there's at least 137 different diseases that are caused just by the osteoporosis of the skull. And when you look at the demyelination, there's another at least 12 or 15 other diseases. So we're going to put that in another segment for soft tissue in that book. It's All in Your Head. Be another division in that book, so I'm working on that outline for that one, and I'm working on that in my spare time. Ha ha ha. Okay, but it's happening. It's very quickly going to be up. We've been putting together all the references, okay, to be added to that book and stuff like that when it gets published with this new material, and so it's very exciting. We're going to help so many people with this information. This is something. It's kind of like when we went from all the big epidemics 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years, 3,000 years ago was the Old Testament. 2,000 years ago was the New Testament. Well, back in those days when they had the epidemics, what was the cause of the epidemics, according to everybody? Evil spirits. Because they didn't know anything about viruses and bacteria and fungus and yeast. So it was just evil spirits. That's all they knew. Okay. Well, here, when they were looking at the glacial milk coming down from the mountains, they didn't know it was glacial milk. They didn't know it was rock dust in the streams coming down the mountains. So they called it milk. And everybody thought it was magical goat's milk or magical cow's milk. And I spent 6 months with a team looking for those areas and what it was, what it really was. Why were people living so long in the land flowing with milk and honey? Okay. And it turns out it was glacial milk. Chapter 10 of the book, Rare Earths. Okay. Chapter 10 is entitled the glacial milk. Okay. And that's why we came up with 8 different sources that have 75 minerals in it, 75 or more minerals. Okay. Rare Earths, chapter 10. And we actually have analyses of glacial milk from, I don't know, half a dozen different countries. You can see they're widely different because the mountains are made out of different things. And some of them have 3 minerals, some 18 minerals, some have 25. All of our minerals come from glacial milk that has at least 75 minerals. We're so very, very proud of that. We're very happy about that. And that's what makes us different. We spent 6 months before we chose our source of minerals. We didn't just do what everybody else was doing. We weren't just going to be another supplement. Okay. We wanted to be the God supplement, you know, getting all those nutrients that were in the land flowing with milk and honey. And we went to a great deal of trouble to find that out. And it's in the book Immortality also. Immortality, we found all these wonderful cultures, wonderful cultures that had people who lived 2 times, 5 times longer than anybody else. And it was because they lived in the lands flowing with milk and honey. Now, in the Old Testament, there's 21 stories that are really designated and devoted to telling the stories of the magical lands flowing with milk and honey. 21 stories. It's anywhere from 2 paragraphs to 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. Those 21 stories. But there's also 100 mentions in the Old Testament. As people are talking about things, they're saying, oh, and this could be related to the land flowing with milk and honey, because these are observations made 3,000 years ago. People know there's something different about these people who live so long. Okay, there was something different. They knew it was, and they couldn't quite put their finger on it. And then they noticed that these are all people who were living in certain types of areas, and these were these milky creeks and streams coming down the mountains, and it looked like milk, so they called it milk, the land flowing with milk and honey.
All right. Thank you so much for going deeper into that. Because yeah, folks, it just goes to prove that what we put in our body really makes a difference. And not all food is created equal when it comes to the nutritional content within that food.
How many minerals do plants make, Becca?
They don't make any minerals unless it's in the soil, Dr. Wallach.
No, they don't make minerals. They might take it up out of the soil, but they don't make them. If the minerals,
Well,
they can
make
take
it
it
on their own, no, but yes, take it out, take it up through the roots. So if it's there,
they can get
then
it.
it's there to be taken up through the roots and then there for us to intake if we eat that food.
But the plants don't need them, so what if they're not there? You
They're
get
not
it?
going to, you're still going to have a plant that looks good if it has the 3 that it needs.
That's right.
But
It looks good, and you're going to love it. You'll eat it, and then you'll die because you didn't supplement. You have to supplement. You have to get those minerals.
most definitely. Well, Dr. Wallach, I have some emails and stuff that I'd like to go through.
Let's go.
One of was a question that we did not get to yesterday, and it has to do with cholesterol. And also, this individual had a TIA, transiemic
Attack.
and did an MRI and an MRA. They showed no signs of stroke, however, but that it says, and also says that the cholesterol is normal, but they're wanting to put her on a cholesterol medication to make sure that the reoccurrence of a TIA doesn't happen. She has been dealing with hypertension over the last few years, which seems to have gotten worse in the last 3 years, but on a medication. And then she's having problems also with heavy menstruation and menstruation, and then she has fibroids. So those things are also affected by hormones also, correct?
Mm-hmm. Okay, how old is she? What does she weigh?
So we're going by 50 years old, she's 5'1", 140 pounds.
Any other issues? Any diabetes? Any arthritis?
No diabetes, no arthritis. She's just wanting information about how she can prevent and no more TIAs, go through the change with hormonal changes that are associated with the menstrual bleeding. And many people don't realize that fibroids have something to do with the hormones also, from my understanding.
Absolutely. Okay, so here we go. With all her issues and her weight, she needs to avoid all the bad foods. Dr. Wallach's cooking about the bad foods, 300 pages of safe recipes, safe cooking methods. There's the good food, bad food list in it. Dr. Wallach's cooking about the bad foods. And she also needs to get the let's see here, 2 healthy brain and heart pack. Well, let's get her the bad foods. She got to get off all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no cooking oils, no salad dressings. I like to use yogurt on my salads or lemon juice, that kind of stuff. She also has to give up gluten, no wheat, no rye, and oats. There are no such things as gluten-free oats. The gluten in oats is called gliadin, but it's still gluten. No buckwheat. There's no gluten in buckwheat, but buckwheat has phagopyrines, F-A-G-O-pyrines, which are 10 times worse than gluten. And so got to get rid of that. Absolutely no sugar, no carbonated drinks, no diet drinks, and no carbonated water, because they neutralize stomach acid, so you cannot absorb minerals or digest food. Now, she needs a minimum of 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. They only weigh 142, and I take 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. Take a full dose of breakfast, full dose of dinner. She needs 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. That's going to help her support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae. Bone makes bone itself, so she can make red blood cells, platelets, antibodies, and white blood cells, and so on. Okay. She also needs, let's see here, I would also get her to take the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. I want her to take 3 of those twice a day minimum. Okay. If she's on high blood pressure medication, don't get off the medication, but as the blood pressure begins to drop, she can slowly reduce the medication based on the numbers. Okay. And then I want her to also take our, let's see, Xerafem, Xera-Fem. I want her to take 2 of those twice a day, 2 twice a day, or 2 3 times a day. It'll be 2 bottles a month of the Xerafem. And they give her ovaries, what the ovary needs to make all the proper hormones to keep the physical structure, the biological functions of the female reproductive system doing all the right stuff. Okay. So that's very, very important. Okay. And I think
Even after childbearing years, it's important to support that, right?
right. You don't want an unhealthy reproductive system, even if you're 40 years old and you've already had 2 or 3 kids, you want to have more kids. Whether or not you're taking, drugs to prevent pregnancy, okay. Even if you're doing that, that might even get you in more danger, okay, because you tend to be eating bad things because, well, I'm not going to have a kid, I can eat all the bad things. I want to drink more alcohol and all that kind of stuff. You do not want to do that. But at any rate, this whole scenario that she has is things that are totally preventable and totally reversible.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I know she's going to be appreciative of the information that you have shared there. And next, Dr. Wallach, we're going to go to Courtney. Welcome back, Courtney. Go ahead and unmute yourself. You're on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hi, Dr. Wallach.
Hi.
I have a client. I found out that his daughter is 22 years old and has autism since the age of 3. She's 22 now. She's had 3 seizures in her life since the time she was 5, but none since then. Scattering speech, no meds, and she weighs between 116 and 117, and she's 5'6".
Okay. Any other issues that you know of? Diabetes?
Nope, nothing.
Okay, good. All right. So yeah, this is one of those things where I want to know what the mother was eating during pregnancy and all that kind of stuff, right? And so because this happened early in her life, okay? And so at her body weight, I want her to give up all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, butter, rye, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go, the diet drinks, and also the carbonated water. And she can have a rebound. We have the sticks, we have the powder in the canister. We also have the cans. The cans, if she's going to drink the cans, you got to pop the tops at night, put them in the refrigerator. They'll be flat in the morning. All the carbonation will be gone. Okay. And then I want her to have at 120 pounds, right? 120 pounds kind of thing.
116, yeah, like
115, 120 pounds. Okay. I want her to have 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month, 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month, a half a dose of everything twice a day. I want her also to have our synaptive, take 3 of those twice a day. That'll have the brain cells talk to each other, and the brain cells talk to the spinal cord talk to the brain. I also want her to have our I-26. and we have the powder, the tablets, but we also have the chewables. There's 2 different flavors of chewables. The kids love them, and she can have 3 twice a day. Okay, I take 3 twice a day. I like the chewables. Okay, they're about the size of a quarter, and they're soft chewables. They're not crunchy, powdery, messy things. Okay, that's going to help her rebuild the myelin in her brain. It says right on the label, provides 25% of the daily requirement of cholesterol. There's no other product in the market that says that.
Wow.
Okay, there's got to rebuild the myelin in the brain. This is something that baby was born with, and so maybe the mother didn't eat right, even if she was breastfeeding the baby, and baby didn't get what it needed to maintain the myelin, the white matter of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
You get demyelinization, you get all kinds of things. You know, you can lose your ability to think and perform addition and math and speech and balance, interpretation, vision, hearing, balance, all that kind of stuff, because it all has to do with the brain and spinal cord. Well, now we know that babies can be born with Parkinson's disease. Okay, and so it's one of those things where the medical profession, you know, that's why we came out with a book. It's all in your head. I have patients who we've reversed these diseases. And they go to the doctor and say, well, you don't have the disease anymore. This is unusual. Did you do anything special? He said, yeah, I took all these nutrients. He said, where did you get the information? Well, there's this book out. It's called It's All in Your Head. Talks about osteoporosis of the skull. And the doctors will just throw the patient's chart on the floor and walk out there and yelling, there's no such things as osteoporosis of the skull.
Mm.
They don't get taught that in school. So that's why I said, you know, I'm seeing this on the autopsy table. So I'm saying, okay, I better write this up as a book because they're missing it so badly. There's thousands of people every day in America being mistreated, being, you know, they're ringing in the ears. That's a squeezing of the auditory branch of the atrial nerve by the skull when you have osteoporosis of the skull. They're sending them to an ear, nose, and throat doctor to get hearing aids. They were missing it that badly.
Mm.
Okay, so that's why we came out with a book. Now we're going to add all this stuff about all this myelin, demyelinization, and all these diseases that they get with demyelinization, you know, the Alzheimer's disease, the FTD, the Parkinson's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, all that kind of stuff. And so it's one of those things where we gather the information, we put them in, and a percentage of people will jump on it and do it and get the benefit. There's a percentage of people will go to their doctor and say, well, what do you think? The doctor says, that's all a bunch of nonsense, and they'll die.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a call from one of our associates up in Chicago. And this guy, you know, went in for an annual physical and he was talking to the doctors there about what we do. And the doctor said, come on, there's no such things as, it's never been reported to have osteoporosis of the skull. It just occurs in the long bones of the arms and the legs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
See, they don't even get taught that. And he said, I didn't realize how little they know about this. And these are very famous doctors. And so they went and looked me up. These famous doctors looked me up and said, oh my gosh. Okay. And so, you know, just going to something like Siri and asking Siri, you know, who is Dr. Joel Wallach? And it'll give you 20 pages, some of my big findings and things that we've found and reversed and cured and reported on. All the papers are written and everything like that. And people, you know, if they're not deep into the scientific area, they may not have heard about us.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't thank the people that do all these things and put all this stuff online where people can get the information. So we're getting it out there. We're saving as many as we can. So thank you for the information. Okay.
I just, one thing you did say, I just want to make sure I understand too. The father said to me that his daughter had a virus at 3 and that the doctors are telling her that this is a result of some virus. Could that be or no?
Okay, this is the kid that has
the 22 that has the autism, because he said that's what they told her. She didn't have this before this virus happened.
Okay, well, when you don't know what's happening, you say it was a virus.
Got it.
Okay, when you don't know what's happening, you say it's genetic. When you don't know what's happening, you say it's autoimmune. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Those are the three go-to places that doctors go to when they don't know the answer to the question or what the treatment should be. So they go to those three things. Okay. And so it's the nature of the beast, the nature of the beast. And again, this one patient up in Chicago took it to these two famous doctors. And when they looked me up, they were freaking out because they never heard, it was like a 10-page deal on Wallach, who he is, all his education, all the papers he's written, all the diseases he's gotten rid of, and this, that, and the other. And so we're slowly making some progress because of people like yourself. And we can't thank you enough because you're sharing the information with people. And every person we save is a step forward for the world. Every person we save or make their life better is a step forward for the world. And I purposely, excuse me, I purposely do not take any payment. Okay. I don't, like a doctor will charge you a medical fee. I don't take a medical fee. I spend an hour on the phone with a family, telling them how to take care of their kid, and they get rid of their disease. They call me up and thank me. You're welcome. Thank you for feeding back to me. I'm happy. But I don't get paid. Longevity does not give me a paycheck, and I do not get paid by the families that I give them information. I purposely set it up that way. So nobody can say, oh, well, you're just saying that, Wally, because you want to sell those vitamins and minerals. No.
No, Dr. Wallach makes his paycheck from the sale of his books, and you can go to drjwallach.com and find all of his publications. And I just want to give Courtney a shout out because she is coming from the wellness fitness field, Dr. Wallach, where she was working with a lot of people in fitness and food choices. And now she's incorporating the longevity solutions in with nutrition.
She looks like she's an athlete. Are you an athlete? Basketball? Did you play basketball? Can't hear you.
Gymnastics, tennis.
Gymnastics, tennis. Well, thank you. Yeah, you look very athletic. Very, very, very lovely young lady. So we appreciate you, and thank you for all you've done. And
Thank you.
appreciate you passing on the message and so forth. We have so many athletes. Theo Ratliff, Evander Holyfield, and so many more. I apologize, I can't remember them all. But those are
there's a lot of them, Dr. Wallach. You shouldn't have to remember them all. And I just wanted to thank Shelby because she's just an amazing person in and out as I get to, Courtney Shelby, as I get to know her. So thank you, Courtney. And Dr. Wallach, let's try to fit in one more question.
Just before we go, Courtney may want to contact Kelly Herron, a female, basketball player who became an All-American. Are you familiar with Kelly Herron? Yeah, look her up. Kelly Herron, Herin. Okay. And Kelly Herron she just came to one of my meetings in Tennessee because she had her shooting arm shoulder, her right shoulder just fell apart where she couldn't lift her arm to shoot anymore. So we rebuilt her. She came back, played 2 more years for the University of Tennessee, became a All-American women's basketball player. And she played for 4 years professional basketball with professional women's teams. And right now she's running around training kids and stuff like that. Just really a great leader. So you should look her up and contact her, Kelly Herron. Okay. So I thought I'd throw a female in there for you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. Now let's go over
7 foot tall ladies.
Let's bring on with us Borgren. So go ahead and unmute yourself. You're on live with Dr. Wallach.
Gordon.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, sir.
I just got out of the hospital back in February 7th, and I have my discharge paper here for bidding for acute diagnostic diastolic heart failure and a SARCA. And I was born with a bicuspid heart valve that was replaced about 12 years ago. And now I'm dealing with this. And I gained 60 pounds of water within 2 months.
What do you weigh?
I weigh 180 now.
Okay, so you weighed 140 pounds before that?
Yes.
Okay.
And it came on very quickly within 2 months.
Okay, tell me about, do you have any diabetes or high blood pressure?
No.
Okay, do you have any joint problems, any pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, your neck?
I have some wrist issues. I was a framing carpenter for about 35 years. I thought it was from wear and tear, but I also have some lower back pain right around the sacral area.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, it's one of those things, the doctor might describe it sciatica or, low back stuff.
Yes, yes, sir.
It's the large nerves that come off the spinal cord, the sciatic nerve on each side and so forth.
Yes,
They cause a lot of pain. But it could also be caused by osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the spinal cord. And that goes all the way down from your neck, all the way down to where the sciatic nerves come off the spinal cord. Okay. And so you have to deal with both. So I do want you to get the book. It's all in your head. It's a book and a CD set by myself and Dr. Milan and Rebecca. It's a great deal of information for people like yourself that have these various joint issues. And then I want you to take, let's see here, I would go ahead to get rid of all the bad foods, then get the Dr. Wallach's cooking without the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, brown, rye, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the carbonated water's got to go. You need to get a hold of that book. It's all in your head. Okay. And then I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, full dose everything twice a day, full dose of breakfast, full dose of dinner time. I want you also to get 2 bottles a month of our MSM. So you take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, at dinner time. That'll help you rebuild cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone, ring, bone cell. Because you may have some artery problems, I want you to take our Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Go ahead and take 3 times a day. There'll be 2 bottles a month. Do that and take 3 times a day, 2 bottles a month. The Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. And they will support healthy blood flow through blocked arteries in the brain, the heart, the kidneys. It'll help there. And if you had heart failure, I do want you to get the de-stress capsules that was specifically built for people with heart failure, congestive heart failure of all kinds. Okay. And I want you to take 3 twice a day. I do that, and I weigh 142, and I don't have the problem. I just don't want to get the problem. So I take 3 twice a day, the de-stress capsules, to deal with anything related to or looks like heart problems, congestive heart failure, and those kinds of things. Okay, heart valve problems and so on. Okay, but give us a call every couple of weeks. You can start getting off all the bad foods right now, and it's going to take just 4 or 5 days to get the order. But so you do want to start getting rid of all the bad foods today when you hang up. You can donate them to your doctor. Don't give them to any of your friends or relatives, the bad foods. Okay.
yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Thorgren, for coming over from YouTube and joining us here live. We appreciate you doing that. And Dr. Wallach, I'm kicking you out. We're pushing it for time, and you need to get on to your next presentation. So thank you again so much. Thank you for being here with us, Dr. Wallach. We, as always, we greatly appreciate you and all that you do when it comes to helping people get the resources that they need, the knowledge they need into their toolbox so that they can help themselves. If I could please get my co-hosts on with me, that would be absolutely fantastic. And as I'm looking here, we've got the UK in the house. We have South Africa in the house. And I know for a little bit, I don't know if they're on right now. We even have South Sudan, New York, New Jersey, Texas, Tennessee, Arizona, West Virginia. Oh my goodness. I love the fact that we can reach around the world. Even here in California and Pennsylvania and Texas and Nevada. So I already said New Jersey. Folks, we're all connected. I love the fact that we can connect no matter where we're at. And with this connection, our heart is to make sure that people are getting the information that they need. We have Phyllis, who's been doing this for 27 years, 28 years, a long time. And I mean, she believes in the system and what Dr. Wallach preaches so intensely that she keeps on going because of those stories that she continues to get each and every week, thanking her for sharing information and sharing Dr. Wallach. Folks, you can get the same thing. And it's not about recognition. especially not for Phyllis. She doesn't like to be put in the spotlight. She's just such a beautiful soul. It's all about the fact that we can take pride in something and know that what we're doing is the right thing to do because people are getting positive results from it. We have Marilyn, who she's like researcher extraordinaire and loves to share information and the benefits that she's received from Dr. Wallach's program and for her husband as well, and just being able to share that passion with people. The same with Sherry. Sherry is also coming from another program of coaching where she was taught how to help people, how to listen, make food choices, maybe even some movement choices. And now she's adding in this component of complete nutrition with the 90 essential nutrients and just seeing even better results with the clients that she's working with. And then we have Sportist, Mr. Sports here, AJ, who has been using the program himself and just finds the value in what it has done for himself and those around him, and has joined as being part of the Daily with Doc team and helping us get the message out using his technical skills. Thank you, sir. In making this program even better. And of course, Ruth Ellen Sanchez, she and I have learned a lot, folks, when it comes to a broadcast like this and making things happen. So I just want to thank her so much for being here with me along this journey as we are learning together and making sure that we're not just heard here in the United States, not just belly to belly presentations, but folks on the web, meeting people where they're at, helping people find information that can actually be beneficial to them, that they can take life into their own hands and make a difference. So again, if you were referred to this program by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them. Our amazing family within Longevity is incredible. So get back and thank them for taking the time and thinking of you, loving and caring enough about you to share this program with you. If you found this program on your own and you would like to get connected with a coach, go to dailywithdoc.com, find that contact option, send us an email. If you prefer phone conversation, go ahead and give us a call, 855-949-3377. I do have a phone team that is there. And this is specifically for the people who have never spoken to anybody about longevity or the products, who have never tried the products before and want to make sure that they are getting on a program that is going to be most beneficial for them. Did I forget anything? I don't think I forgot anything. Other than my name is Becca Dukes, and as the hostess of this program, it is my goal in life and my heart's desire to make sure more and more people are able to feel the difference that the 90 essential nutrients make. So give us 90 days. Bye for now.